What's going on, WeldTube family? Hey, Jake Schofield here with Schofield Welding. We are in Appleton, Wisconsin at the Miller headquarters, and we are hanging out with the Miller team and with my boys, Rosendo, Matt. These guys are going to be helping me on this video tutorial. We're going to be building today a weld tree, basically what's going to be holding your coupons. It's going to be a sliding mechanism, and you're going to be able to position your coupons the way you need to position them, or that as you practice welding, you're comfortable as you weld.
Warning: read and follow all labels and the owner's manual.
All right, guys, one of the good things about being over here at Miller is we actually have the people that have designed them, that work on them, and that know the most about this equipment that we're going to be using to build this stand. Right here we have Olivia with Miller. She's going to be explaining everything to you and how it all works.
Yeah, so today they're going to be using the Spectrum 625 Extreme plasma cutter, which has dual voltage, meaning it can run on 120 or 240 volt, and it's rated to cut up to 5/8 material. The WeldTube team is also going to be using our Multimatic 220 AC/DC, which is multi-process. It's capable of doing MIG, stick, AC, and DC TIG. They're going to be utilizing the Quick Tech feature, which means they can have multiple processes set up and switch between the two without having to swap out anything, going back and forth between MIG and TIG, just with the press of a foot pedal or the press of the trigger. They're also going to be utilizing our auto set feature, which allows them to set their machine settings with just a few buttons.
What's up, guys? Last video we were here at Miller location. We built this nice little fab table, very typical of what you'd see for the homeowner, somebody that just bought their first little machine and then they need somewhere at home to practice or build small projects. So today, going along with that, now we're going to build the weld tree, okay? So if you've been to a welding facility, a testing lab, whatnot, it's pretty typical what you see. We have one tube here that is going to be welded vertically to a base plate that will be plasma cut, okay? Then it's sleeved over with that, and we're going to make these T-handles with a nut so we can adjust this and tighten it along the vertical axis at any height or anything we want to do there. And then being connected to that point, we have the side branch that'll stick out here. We have a nice saddled tube. It's nice and coped. It's going to fit real nice, be able to weld real nice. And we also have a sleeve that attaches here, okay? And again, another T-handle. So we can slide this in and out, rotate it any location you're going to want it to be. And there will be a plate welded to this as well. So any test coupon, any little practice piece you're going to want to weld will attach to that plate. So as you weld and get spatter, clean up, you can bust that plate off, put a new one on, and you can keep on keeping on. All right, guys, so I'm going to start cutting our base plates here for our tree. Today I'll be using the Miller Spectrum 625 Extreme. Okay, it's a very, very small package. It's very impressive that that thing will cut. It's rated to 5/8 of an inch. When you do this kind of stuff, as basic as it might seem, we're starting with a large piece of steel here. So use that to your advantage. Don't cut the small square out first and you're left with this tiny piece you're trying to hang on the side of your table to finish your cut. Make all of your small cuts first and make your last cut the rip to get 2 plates out of 1 cut, okay? So it's just like order of operations. Think of it as a bigger picture, all right? So I'm using a straight edge or a framing square, and we have a drag tip on our torch today. So you can set the tip right on the material and drag it. You don't have to try to hover it. It's not like a welding machine or anything like that. When you have this tip on there, you have much more control over it. The weight of the torch is on the material. You're not trying to hover it there. So I'm going to use this framing square. It's about just the perfect height where I can butt this tip right up against it, holding it with my hand. I don't even need to clamp this down, and just a light drag, and we'll have a perfect straight line every time. Nothing we're doing right here today on this tree is super critical. So I'm just going to eyeball that it's centered on the tip on each side, make sure we're nice and straight, nice and square. And when we got what we need, go ahead and sit the tip right on the plate, pull the trigger, have it pierce. As soon as it pierces through, just drag it towards you. Super quick, super easy, okay? And as you can see, that took about 2 to 3 seconds. It's a perfect cut. Small kerf, you're not losing a lot of material tolerances. And that's another big thing compared to the oxyacetylene side, where most people would be doing that. You have a nice 1/4 inch wide kerf. When you use plasma, it's very, very defined, very fine line. It's a great thing to have. Do the same thing over here. Just gonna sit our tip down on the plate. Again, we're just gonna eyeball center. Nothing here is critical today. Just give it a good eyeball. Go ahead and drop your hood. Make sure your hood's in grind mode, a shade 5. It's plenty dark enough you can still see what you're doing. Go ahead and sit the tip on the plate, pull the trigger, let it pierce, and nice smooth drag. All right, so now we have our side cuts done. I'm gonna go ahead and just lay our straight edge along the long side, go ahead and rip that off, get our plates, and then we can start putting this guy together.
All right, guys, one of the cool things about this machine, we're gonna have Matt, Rosendo, they're gonna be welding here in just a second, but one of the neatest features about this machine is it has like an automatic feature to where when I hit this trigger, it shoots right over to running wire. So we're gonna hit that, moves it over, it automatically clicks it over. We're an 030 wire, 1/4 inch material. These are the recommended settings for it. As these guys are welding, if they want more, they want less, I can control all of it right here as they're going. Same thing with TIG. All we got to do is hit the TIG button or the TIG pedal, kicks it right over. We're ready to rock and roll. Okay, guys, so we got Rosendo. He's going to be welding, running wire, welding the pole onto the base. Get it 4 tacks so that it doesn't pull. And then he's going to go ahead and run it all the way out. One of the things you're going to notice too is these guys are using the same hoods that they're welding, they're cutting, they're grinding with. There's modes inside the hoods that swap them back and forth, which makes it really handy. You're not looking for cutting hoods, you're not looking for grinding hoods, it's all in one hood. So Rosendo's quartering all this out so that it doesn't just pull one direction. Okay, guys, you guys are going to notice Matt's sitting here. He's going to be grinding the zinc coating or whatever kind of coating's on your nut. You need to get that off before you go ahead and TIG weld that. So he's going to be welding this to the sleeves, which will give you the ability to tighten it up, loosen it, move it around, adjust it the way you need to adjust it. Okay, so like he said earlier, we're just cleaning up everything where he's going to be welding. Especially with TIG, super critical, keep everything clean.
So now at this point, we MIG welded our base plate on our vertical pole. Now I'm gonna start prepping up some of the sleeves. So it's easier to do it now before it's attached to a longer tube, now that it's just its own little part. So I'm gonna weld the nut on here using the TIG process. Anytime I weld small, precise type stuff like this, you can MIG weld it, but it's nice to have the accuracy and precision of TIG for this kind of a smaller process. So we already have our holes popped in the sleeve, okay? And we have our hardware. So if you ever have to weld a nut around a hole, it's a good idea to use the bolt as the kind of a jig or a fixture for tacking, okay? So we can use our bolt, sit that right down in the hole, and we know that after we get done welding it, that bolt will fit through the hole. Okay, the last thing I want to do is get this whole thing welded up. Oh man, none of my bolts fit. So I don't recommend welding it out solid with the hardware still inside the nut, especially on stainless hardware, because it will gall and you will weld the bolt inside the nut. You won't be able to get it back out. So use it for tacking purposes, pull the bolt back out, and go ahead and finish your weld, okay? So again, stick the bolt down through the hole. You can line up the nut however orientation you would like it to be. Just put one little finger on there just to hold it where you need to be, and give it a quick pulse with the pedal, get one tack on it, and then go ahead and remove your hardware. Get one small fusion tack on there, that's plenty just to hold the nut where you need it to be. Again, go ahead and remove your hardware, get that out of the way, and give it a quick look. It's nice and tight, it didn't draw, so I don't need to tap it with a hammer or anything. It's already sitting where I need it to be. Go ahead and put a tack 180 degrees across from the first one, and we should be just fine.
So Matt's got this thing clamped down right now just so that it's not rolling around on him as he's welding it. guys, Matt just got done tigging on the nuts for the sleeves. Now we got Rosendo. He's gonna be MIG welding the bolts actually on the T-handles. So here we go. He's gonna go ahead, tack this all up, and then weld them out. Okay, so there's 2 T-handles on this piece when you build this, so make sure you're building 2 of those. All right, guys, these 2 are gonna be putting the saddle on the sleeve. So what actually happened is saddled this piece of pipe, tied it into the sleeve, so it has a good fit all the way around it. So on this piece in particular, make sure you're putting a good weld on it. It's gonna have quite a bit of pressure on it, depending on how big your coupon is on the end of it. So you definitely don't want that breaking. Good looking, that's perfect. All right, guys, so these 2 are getting ready to tie on the plate, which is gonna be holding your coupon. So they're gonna be tacking that onto the other sleeve. So there's 2 sleeves. This is going to be the piece that runs horizontal on your coupon tree. All right, thanks Rosendo, thank you Matt. You guys killed it with this. Hey guys, this is something you can try at home. It's gonna help you out quite a bit. You got the table in part 1. We got the coupon tree in part 2. So we hope you guys enjoyed. Everybody, don't forget to like, subscribe, and leave a comment. And we'll talk to you here in a bit. See ya.